historical black colleges. I would love to see a historical black college in the city of Detroit. I think that would be amazing, and I think you're just the president to be able to make that happen.
It's an interesting idea, actually. I don't know.
Well,
maybe we can work something out.
I think you can
we'll
make
talk
that happen.
about that.
I would love to talk about that.
But I think your idea about historically black colleges, universities coming here, one real good one.
Yes.
I think it's a great idea. John, you want to start working on that, please?
Absolutely.
Isn't that a good idea?
That's a great idea, and I have a couple ideas of exactly where to put it, Karen.
Say hello to your husband.
I will. He's actually in the car.
Oh, he's in the car. Can we bring him in, please? Is he all right? I mean, why is he in the car?
Because
he can't make it, Scott? You mean he doesn't qualify? Would you do me a favor? Could you have somebody go out and find him, take his car, let him come in?
And I'll tell you this one little story about him because it was very impressive. I think it was the first time that I had traveled with him to one of these big campaign stops. It was a total downpour in New York. We're leaving the Trump Tower. We'd all met. And we pulled up a couple of these, black SUVs or whatever. Everybody else you could see scurrying off to run up into the plane so they didn't get their hair wet or whatever. And there was two guys that were like tarmac guys who were working on the airfield, and they were going to pull the chocks off of the airplane while they're preparing to take off, right? And they're just soaking wet, and it was cold too. And Trump got out of that car. He walked out of that car, downpour, and he walked over to those two guys. I'm standing there watching this, and he walks over to these two guys and has a conversation with them for, a better part of probably 15, 20 seconds. And, he probably said, hey, thanks for what you're doing. And I saw him pull out a roll of bills, and he gave each one of them something. Maybe he gave them a 20, maybe he gave him 100. I don't know what he gave them, but I saw him hand those guys like a tip, in the downpour, and he could have just walked out of his car and walked upstairs and gotten in and they held an umbrella out for him, right? And he didn't do that. And I tell you that story because there's a human side of Donald Trump that it gets out once in a while, and there's all kinds of crazy stories about him. But when I saw that, I saw a guy that I respected at that moment, and really a sign of respect for just the working man. And I think that's what's in Donald Trump's heart.
Who's going to get this one? Sell it tonight on eBay, 10,000. Sell it tonight on eBay. Give me another one, John.
This is great. Yeah.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
The father of Horace Lorenzo Anderson told us that he still has not received a call about his son's death from the mayor of Seattle. But he did get a condolence call this morning from President Donald Trump.
I still ain't heard from the mayor. Incredibly, Donald Trump called me. The president of the United States called me today and talked to me today.
What did he say?
He gave his condolences. On this camera, I tell you right now, Donald Trump called me. And he didn't have to call me. He didn't have to do nothing.
Go back to the president's phone call because we were both on the phone call. The president was extremely gracious.
Yeah.
He called at a perfect time during the funeral services.
Yes.
It just lifted Horace up.
Yeah,
he was just like elated, screaming.
Yeah.
And I got a call from the president. So.
Yeah.
And you have the financing to rebuild and everything?
Working on it.
Are you close?
Close, but not close enough.
How much will it be? How much are you going to need?
We're looking at a new building right now to purchase. And it's on the market right now for $1.3 million. So that's kind of where we are right now negotiating.
Because you had a real success, right? You built a real success ahead.
Yeah.
All right. Well, maybe we can help you out a little bit with government, too. We'll try. All right. Yes. I'd love to have you come up and say a few words, please, Tony. Tony Rankins.
Thank you. I'm not a public speaker, so
Bear with me. First of all, I would like to thank
President Trump, I just want to thank you for giving me a second chance and believing in me and reading my petition. I'm just so thankful. It's just 20 years ago, I fought at the Trump Casino, and now you signed to give me clemency. First, I didn't know it was real until I was able to bring and touch this little guy right here. I left him when he was 2 years old, President Trump. You reunited me back to my family.
And going all the way back to 1980, Trump hired Barbara Rez to be the head of construction for his organization. She was just one of many women Trump promoted into prominent positions in construction at a time when the industry was dominated by men, with Trump even saying that a good woman is better than 10 good men. As a result, Barbara says she may have been the first woman in U.S. history to build a skyscraper. Jewish family were desperate to find help for their critically ill son, who was just 3 years old and needed a flight from Los Angeles to New York for emergency treatment. But all the commercial airlines refused to fly their son because he needed to travel with several large pieces of medical equipment. Running out of hope, the family reached out to Donald Trump, who they said didn't even hesitate and agreed to have his private jet fly the family and their sick son to New York for treatment. The boy's father said, quote, "Donald Trump is a miracle, just a miracle." In 2008, singer and actress Jennifer Hudson's mother, brother, and nephew were all murdered at their home in Chicago. In another unexpected gesture of kindness, Trump reached out to the grief-stricken Hudson and offered to house her and her relatives at Trump Tower in Chicago for free. At the time, People magazine praised Trump for his, quote, heart of gold, with Trump saying he just wanted to help protect her and her family. In 2013, bus driver Darnell Barton stopped to help a woman who he thought looked like she was about ready to jump off a bridge. Donald Trump heard about the story and sent Barton a $10,000 check for his good deed, saying, quote, "Your quick thinking resulted in a life being saved, and for that, you should be rewarded." U.S. Marine Corps Sergeant Andrew Timorisi was arrested in Mexico and held for 7 months after he accidentally brought firearms across the border. Trump followed the case, and when Andrew was finally released and returned to the United States, Trump reached out and sent him a check for $25,000. In 2017, President Trump heard that the family of Army Corporal Dylan Baldridge was struggling after their son was killed in Afghanistan. Vowing his support for the family, President Trump personally sent them a check for $25,000 and instructed his staff to create an online fundraising page to help the family out.
But humility. I mean, a lot of people don't think your name is on everything. You have often talked about, sometimes braggadocio is part of your pitch.
No, I know, but there's more humility than you would think. We're all the same. And I do have actually much more humility than a lot of people would think.
But you don't want to show it.
I'd rather not play my cards. I want to be unpredictable.